Hey everyone, how's it going? So let's take a look at that F-150. I actually had to move it from the other bay to over here because I needed the lift that this was on. Excuse me. Anyway, so I haven't done anything. As you can see, the shop is dark. It's Christmas Eve actually. So I moved it last night, verified the pressure again, just to make sure nothing had changed from me running it. And I want to check and see what the pressure actually is now that I'm back at the shop. You might be saying, what are you doing at work on Christmas Eve? Well, we're going to be open for a half a day, so. All right. Yeah. So now what? Where do you go from there? I can't find the leak. Absolutely bizarre. Where would a gallon of coolant go? I don't know. I would think if it had a head gasket issue, or it's burning coolant somehow, somewhere, some way, I would think I would have the misfire code. I don't see any smoke. I don't smell anything through the exhaust. I don't physically see a leak. I don't see any stains. That's what's blowing my mind. I don't see any stains either. People don't realize this, but coolant will evaporate to an extent. So was it a situation where some evaporated and they just kept going with it and they never bothered to check it, like ever, and it just kept getting lower and lower and lower, and the temperature of the motor was increasing and it was steaming it up a little bit? I don't know. I don't have an answer. So this is just absolutely bizarre. Actually, let's start this thing up and let's listen to it now. Now that's been sitting. And you saw I put that Type F in the motor to help quiet it up a little bit, and basically because it's been so long since it's had an oil change, I just wanted to do that to try to like unstick stuff. Type F, to me, is the best oil additive you could use. And I've run motors completely on Type F, motors that were completely sludged up. I've run them 500 miles on it. So on straight ATF is what I'm trying to say. I've added a quart like that and run a car for a complete oil change like that. So, all right, let's actually start this. Okay. Oops, tripping on myself here. Okay, that was pretty quiet. Remember how bad this thing was clattering and tapping before? Not so bad now, is it? I'm telling you, ATF, Type F ATF works miracles on motors. If you have damage, it's not going to fix damage. But unsticking lifters, tappets, breaking down sludge. So this thing, obviously, I'm going to have to change the oil in it. But it is slowly building up pressure, but that's normal because it's heating up. I'm just going to bleed off a hair. I don't want the pressure to go up too high. Let me crack the door or two. I got a bunch of stuff in the way here that I got to clean up. But dang, that motor sounds great. Doesn't it? It sounds pretty darn good. I'm telling you, ATF works miracles on motors. I'm just looking at the gauge. And yeah, it's slowly climbing, which it should do, because you get temperature in the coolant and it expands. All right, so we just blip it again. I don't want this thing to see where the white line is in the red. I don't want to get past 1.5, which is about 21 3/4 pounds. I'm going to leave it running for a few minutes. You can actually see the coolant gets pushed through this hose and it swirls right there as it goes back into the tank. Kind of like a whirlpool right there. Okay. But I have not changed the oil on this yet. This is still that old nasty oil. Yeah. Still that old nasty oil that I gotta change. They're not leaving here with it unless I do an oil change, I'll tell you that right now. The fact that I cannot find a coolant leak is just blowing my mind. I mean, that's just normal steam because it's kind of cold outside. I don't know if you can even see it. Or it's just condensation coming out of the exhaust. I don't know if you can actually see it or not. Very little. It doesn't have any smell to it whatsoever. So yeah. What do you do at this point? You can hear a little bit of ticking kicking back in as it's heating up, but that's because the oil's so broken down in this thing. But compared to before, remember what this motor sounded like before? All right, let me kill this thing. And like I said, yeah, oil change required, but it's 10,000 miles overdue. All right. Well, that's kind of end this. We're closed tomorrow for Christmas, obviously, but I'm going to leave this sit on the lift. We're going to work a half a day, and then so it'll be sitting here for basically another 48 hours. I'm going to see where the pressure goes from there. So it's got a little bit of temperature in it. Maybe it changes something. I don't know. And here's the other thing too. If I had a leak in head gasket from it sitting overnight, basically from when I made the video yesterday, it's about 16, 17, 18 hours, whatever it is. If a head gasket was leaking, it would have pushed some coolant into a chamber somewhere and it would have had a misfire. And it's not doing that. So, I don't know. All right, I'm going to leave this video alone right now. We're going to revisit this thing come Thursday. All right, guys. Hope you get something out of my videos. If you do, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Check down in the description, too. I have links to Amazon products that I use personally, and I do recommend them. And every click helps. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just please give it a click, because a click helps. I got a couple of pennies out of it, but it helps. Every little bit helps. So I do appreciate it. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.